What's up, YouTube? It's Cat Sports again. Now, this is a sports channel, so let's talk some sports. Excuse me. Now, as always, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. Just Boxing Talk. We're a group of people that just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a channel, podcast, anything like that. The only requirement is you just have to love talking boxing. Two big fight cards yesterday. Of course, we had the big one in Vegas, David Benavidez against Demetrius Andrade. And we also had the big rematch, women's rematch, I think it was in England, Chantel Cameron against Katie Taylor. I'll take a look at both cards, but first, I want to look at the women. I'm just going to look at two fights on that card. Two championship fights. There was a WBC interim title fight. Sky Nicholson putting her WBC interim featherweight strap on the line against Lucy Walhart. I like Sky Nicholson. Talented young woman's fighter. Have reached contender status. She fought Lucy Walhart yesterday. And Nicholson dominated Walhart through 8.5 rounds. And causing Walhart's corner to end up throwing the towel in midway through the ninth. Had like a round and a half to go. They had saw enough. Then the first couple of rounds, Nicholson established her southpaw lead to control the action. Looks like she got a nice reach. What's up, Bruce Gas Boxing? Good to see you, bro. Talking a little bit about the fights yesterday. Everybody else talked about them. Let me put my 2 cents worth in. But anyway, I was talking about Scott Nicholson and Lucy Walhart. I really like Scott Nicholson. She's a talented young woman's fighter. So that she has a nice reach because she's a southpaw. She always had that right hand out there. And like she's always at a range where she can touch her opponent, but they can't touch her. And she used that to control Lucy Walhart yesterday. And Walhart was game. She was trying to fight on the front foot and come forward. But Nicholson had her timed early. And Walhart just couldn't get in on her. And Nicholson up the tempo around the 5th round. Caught Walhart with a nice, wicked hook. And Scott Nicholson had very educated footwork. And she had Walhart missing badly throughout the fight. But like I say, Walhart was game. And she tried to turn the tide, but Nicholson was just a little bit too much for her. And late in the fight, she had Walhart bleeding badly from the nose. And then Nicholson planted her feet and started to tee off on Walhart. And that's what made him throw the towel in. So Nicholson retains her WBC interim featherweight strap. Improves her record to 9-0. That was her first stoppage, by the way. And Walhart drops to 10 wins, 3 losses. She has 4 knockouts. That was her first time being stopped. Now Nicholson is hoping that fight will propel her to a title shot against Amanda Serrano early next year. I don't think she can beat Serrano, but Serrano will have to work. But it'll be a good little scrap. Hopefully we'll see that somewhere probably around springtime. Toronto fought a couple weeks ago. So yeah, that would be a good little scrap for the women. Toronto against Scott Nicholson at featherweight. And then we had the main event was Chantel Cameron in the rematch against Katie Taylor. Taylor got it this time. Majority decision. And that was the only loss of her career. So she avenged that. And also, that's the only loss of Cameron's career. So the trilogy is set up. And they said last night, I didn't really believe this. There's never been a woman's trilogy. Wow. That's hard to believe, but hey, I guess it's true. I can't remember one. But Taylor becomes the third person to be two-time undisputed in the four-belt era, joining Clarissa Shields and Terrence Crawford. There's only 3 people to do that. Yep. Monster Inouye will likely be the 4th next month when he fights for undisputed at 122. I think that might be the last card of the year too. That's like the last Tuesday in December. So it'll probably be the 4th one. Because that'll be his second undisputed belt. Because he had undisputed at 118, now he'll be going forward at 122. Now, as far as the fight between Cameron and Taylor, it was very competitive. Flawless mentality. It's good to see you, bro. Always a pleasure. Just talking a little bit about the fights yesterday. The women's fights over in the UK. Because everybody was focused on that Benavidez Andrade card, but this was a couple pretty good fights on that card, too. Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor was a very competitive scrap, just like I thought it would be. And the 37-year-old Taylor showed she got a lot left in the tank. A lot of people thought she was done. Well, she probably would have been if she would have lost this fight. But hey, she showed up and showed out last night. It seemed like both women picked up where they left off in the first fight in May. They came out throwing flurries. Battery low. Shoot. Lord. I got the thing plugged into the wall. Oh, there we go. I didn't have to plug all the way in. That would have been a disaster. My laptop died on me. Okay, now where was it? Yeah, both women came out. They picked up right where they left off at the end of the first fight. Came out there throwing flurries in the first round. And there was some controversy in the first round too, because it looked like Cameron had put Taylor down with a nice stiff jab, but the referee called it a slip. So, and that 2-point round might have pulled it out for Cameron, because it was a very close fight. But you know, Taylor did enough to win. I thought it was a knockdown, but you know, I'm not a referee, so the referee called it a slip. It's counted as a slip. Now both fighters used rough tactics the entire fight this time. Last time it was mainly Cameron, but this time Taylor fought fire with fire. Yeah, made a difference too. Numerous head clashes. Cameron had a nasty cut on her forehead. And Taylor's face was full of bruises by the end of the action. Cameron tried to dominate on the inside again, which was the key to her winning the first fight. But Taylor handled the pressure much better this time. She sure did. Every single round was close, and the action was back and forth, back and forth. But the difference in this fight, I think, was Taylor's punch output. She threw a lot more punches this time, and her punch selection was good, and her energy level was much higher. Much higher. And this time, Taylor seemed to be too quick for Cameron. I couldn't believe it. Chantel just could not catch up with her. And they had got into some furious exchanges as we got late into the fight. And the 8th round was fought at very close range with a lot of holding. And then when we got to the 10th round, Taylor looked kind of exhausted. And Chantel finished the fight with blood pouring down her face, all over her face. But Taylor held her off. She got the judges gave her 98-94, 96-92, and one judge called it a draw. So Taylor goes to 23-1, 6 knockouts. Cameron is now 18-1 with 8 knockouts. And each one gave the other their only loss. So the trilogy is set up. Just like Cameron, before they May, she gives Taylor her rematch in November. It's only fair that they do the trilogy around springtime. So we set up for some good women's fights early next year. We got Serrano potentially against Scott Nicholson in the trilogy between Cameron and Taylor. And this will be the first trilogy ever between women. I did not know that. That is hard to believe. But I guess it is because I can't remember any. It's Sunday. I guess everybody watching the football games. Okay, now let's go out to Las Vegas. Briefly see what happened with the men out there on the big Benavidez Andrade card. I think it was 6 fights. There was 2 in the on the non-pay-per-view. They showed them on YouTube. Vito Malnicki versus Alexis Salazar started the card, and that was just a serious beatdown. That was in the 154 division. Malnicki dropped Salazar, I think it was 3 times. I think it was 3. I had it written down somewhere, but I believe it was 3 in the first round on the way to a stoppage. Salazar never really got into the fight. So that was fast. It was scheduled for 10 rounds, but it was a first round stoppage. 3 knockdowns in the first round by Vito Malnicki. And now he takes his record to 16 wins, 1 loss, 11 knockouts. Salazar drops to 25-6, 10 knockouts. He's pretty much just a name, a step-up test for the youngsters, you know. He wasn't much of a test for Malnicki. Then the next fight was Sergey Lipinets against Michel Rivera. Good test for Rivera. His first fight in the 140 division against a good veteran fighter, Sergey Lipinets. A tough test for anybody. He's been in there with boots. A few good fighters. Rivera ended up getting a unanimous decision. Yeah. He outboxed Lipinets to win a 10-round unanimous decision. And this was the most noteworthy win of Rivera's career. He had a slow start, but he overcame it. Boxed very well, off the back foot, during most of the fight. Like I said, it was his debut at 140. And he had a wide lead. What's up, Aunt McQueen? I was just going over the fights. Talked a little bit about the women from last night, and went over briefly vignettes and Michelle Rivera. Rivera got like a wide UD, and it's a good win for him. We was talking about that the other day over the veteran Rivera. Lipinets. Lipinets been in there with some talented fighters. Boots. So a nice win for Rivera. I see he was in there trying to look like Muhammad, dressed like Muhammad Ali. He looked a little bit like Ali too. Sure did. Dancing. Feet looked beautiful. I was impressed. Very impressed by Rivera. Okay. Get in there. Yeah, his conditioning. Yeah. Overall, I really like the way Rivera looked in that fight. Very interesting. And a good job for him. Good step-up fight against a good veteran fighter, Sergey Lipinets. He boxed well off the back foot. Movement was nice. Like you say, his conditioning. Because he pretty much danced around the whole fight. Oh, shoot, that's not right. Look at that link. Sorry. 1 second. Nobody will get it off of that link. Yeah, I was very impressed with Rivera. What's next for him at 140? You think he ain't ready for anybody? Think Rivera's ready for any of the top guys up there at 140? I don't know. Be very interesting. Be with you in 1 second. How's everybody today? How's everybody's team doing today? My Ravens play tonight. Yep. I think it's San Diego Chargers. Yep. We play the old Sunday night game. There we go. What did I do? At 140. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm saying. You think is he gonna stay? Yeah. And what do you mean at 140? I guess he's at 140 for good now, right? Okay. Now he That just said by the 10th round, Lippin just needed a knockout. Because Rivera had built a comfortable lead through the first 9 rounds. Rivera just tried to start out pressing the action, but Rivera kept him at bay with his jab movement. Like Ant said, his conditioning was very good throughout the fight. And he continued to box well off the back foot. And he earned the unanimous decision. 97-93 on 2 judges' cards. 1 judge had it 96-94. I don't know what fight he was watching. 96-94. I didn't think it was that close. Could have been. I'm not a judge. But looking at the stuff that I was going over the other day, I didn't see 96, 94. I think 97, 93 was cool. What you think, Ant? 97, 93? Hello, Miss Joette. How are you this afternoon? We were just talking a little bit about the fights yesterday. That's all. And that Rivera fight. One judge had it 96, 94. The other two had it 97, 93. I think 97, 93 is cool. 96, 94 was kind of close. I don't know about that. Then the next fight after that was Hector Garcia and Lamont Roach. And Lamont lifted that title up off of him. The WBA junior lightweight strap. Wow. Hector didn't look anything like the Hector that beat Chris Colbert and then Roger Gutierrez when he was on his way to the title. What happened to that guy? Man, what happened to Hector, Ant? His aggressiveness was gone. He wouldn't use his jab. Wouldn't let his hands go. Wow. I didn't even recognize that Hector. You think Tank broke him? That Tank knockout did him in or something? Gunshot? But he was in there against the guy that's not known for power, Roach. But I did not recognize Hector yesterday. That was great. Well, that's good to hear, Miss Joette. Everything is good. Just glancing at the football games. My team played tonight at 8. The Ravens. They play the Chargers. I think it's the Chargers. I gotta check. I know they played a late game. But I was watching the Steelers and the Bengals. I lost track of what was going on. But Hector Garcia, talk to me, Ant. What was wrong with Hector? Or Miss Joette? Somebody. That wasn't the Hector that beat Chris Colbert and Roger Gutierrez on his way to winning the WBA title. Seemed kind of gunshot. Both of them started out really, really slow. There wasn't a lot of punches thrown at all. But Roach was winning just by, he was a busier. Hector did a lot of waiting, seemed like, trying to counter. Even when it got late in the fight, and it was a real close fight into the championship rounds, he was still waiting. That's not the Hector I knew. Not the one that beat Chris Colbert. He was all over Chris. I bet you Chris Colbert, we should have fought him like that. Wow. What's wrong with Hector? He lost his title. Now those cards were way off. One judge gave it to Hector, Tim Cheatham. He's got the perfect name, Tim Cheatham, because Tim will cheat him. Tim gave it to Hector, 96. No, 114. It was 12 rounds. 114, 113. One judge gave it to Lamont Roach, 114, 113. Then the other judge gave it to Roach, 116, 111. I think that was right, 116, 111. That sounded about right. Yeah, that's how Harold Letterman had it. I don't usually agree with him, but Harold Letterman usually the judges have it right and Harold Letterman is wrong. But yesterday it was the other way around. Harold Letterman was right. Isn't that the one on Showtime? I get him mixed up with Steve Farmer. I think it's Letterman. But he had it right last night. He had 117, 111. That's about right. Now, the knockdown in the 12th round, Lamont hit him behind the head. And he ended up needing that because if he hadn't got that, Tim Cheatham probably would have had Hector winning. Okay. I mean, the other judge. So Hector probably would have won, but Lamont shouldn't have needed that knockout. He should have been further ahead than they had him. Yeah. You see what I'm saying, Miss Joette? He should have been further ahead than they had him. But the right man got the belt. Now he says he wants any of the guys at 130. I don't think he could handle Shaki, Navarrete, or Codina. No disrespect meant, but I think Lamont is the weak link there. far as the titles at 130. But he's now the WBA junior lightweight champion, Lamont Roach, out of Washington, D.C. And that was his second chance at a title. He lost his first title shot against Jamel Herring. Yep. But he got Hector last night. Now in the 11th round, he had Hector in serious trouble. He caught him with an awkward right hand. He sent Hector into the ropes. And I like the punch placement that when he got Hector in trouble in the 11th, oh man, he had some excellent punch placement. Very accurate punches. Just landed just about all of them. You know, somebody would get a fighter in trouble and they just start wailing away. What is this? Excuse me for 1 second. Hello. What's up? Yeah, why? How do you go? Okay, I'll be there. Okay, all right. Love you. Bye. Now I gotta pick my wife up. She was giving our son her call. That's my day up, but I don't have to go right now. I wasn't planning on going outside today. He goes to her job and gets her call. He wouldn't do that to me, but that's another story. Now, where was I? What's my place? Yeah, Miss Stewart, he was clearly winning. You know, looked like they tried to get him, but they couldn't do it. It was one of those cases where he won too clearly and they couldn't cheat. But, you know how some fighters would get a fighter in trouble and they just wailing away, but Roach wasn't doing that. He was making every punch count, but he couldn't get him out of there. But that helped reward his victory. Okay, so then the next fight was, who was next? Was it Subriel and Soldier Home? Or was it Jamel? Subriel, right. The next fight was Subriel Matias and Soldier Horn Ergashev. I can't say it like what's the ring announcer name? Jimmy Lennon. Is that his name? The way he said Ergashev's name is right, but I can't say it like that. Ergashev or something. So I say Ergashev. That's how it's spelled. E-R-G-A-S-H-E-V. Ergashev. But anyway, Subriel Matias stopped him, I think it was after the 6th round. But that was pretty much what I expected. I expected Ergashev to come out there early, get some good shots in. Subriel feel him out, feel his power, and then just walk him down. Ergashev he was putting some shots on Subriel early. Most guys would have went down. Ergashev was putting people away with those shots. That left hand was getting up in there, but Subriel was just looking at him. And then, what punch? He got up with a punch that changed the whole thing. I think it was a body shot. I think it was the 3rd round. He got him in the, I think it was the 3rd round. He hit Ergashev with Ergashev got him with the left in the 1st round to the body that sent him back into the ropes. He wasn't seriously hurt though, but it got his attention. And Ergashev, his confidence was at a high level then. He was connecting with some hard shots. But in that 2nd round, Matias began to come forward and got close and found the range. And I think it was the 3rd round when he really turned it around though, when he started breaking them down. Yeah, I think it was the 4th round, that vicious right uppercut snapped Ergashev's head back, and you could just see Ergashev's confidence just go whoosh, just left him. Because he was staggering when he got back to his stool after that 4th round. And that was the beginning of the end. Ergashev just warmed down after that. Not Ergashev, Subriel. That guy's a machine, man. That guy is a machine. Who can beat him at 140? Let's talk about that. Who can beat Ergashev at 140? I don't know. I can't think of anybody. And Miss Joette, y'all think of anybody that can beat Ergashev at 140? I can't. That guy has a chin. Because some of them, I'm not Ergashev, Matthias. Some of those shots Ergashev was landing on him, man. He's supposed to be down and out. He just looked at him. And once he found out Ergashev couldn't hurt him, that was it. You got to give Ergashev credit too, because he took some pretty good shots too. But they just added up on him. Nobody can stand up under that type of punishment. Nobody. And what was the 6th round? Ergashev didn't come back out. I think it was 6. I don't blame him. Because it was only going to be more of the same from Subriel. Any ideas on who could beat Subriel at 140? What's up, Al Booker? I'm with you, Miss Joette. I don't think it's anybody either. Al Booker, who can beat Subriel Matthias at 140? That's what we was thinking. Me and Miss Joette don't think it's anybody that can beat him at 140. Maybe Tank, but Tank's at 130. And Subriel mentioned after the fight, he mentioned Tank. He mentioned Tio. He mentioned Devin. And he mentioned Regis. Tank would have a chance, but man. That guy is just a machine. Subriel. Now, Booker, did you see those left hands that oh, sorry, Aunt. That I can never find it. There we go. That Ergashev was landing on Subriel in that 1st round. One time he hit his glove and knocked him back. What's up, Aunt?
Chilling, brother.
Oh, Florida's mentality says Tank would stop him. You come up with anybody at 140 that could beat Subriel, Aunt?
I think the thing with Subriel though is it's a matter of engagement. You know, if you don't really engage him too much, I think that a couple of guys have a good chance at doing something with him. Because what's the name? Ergashev did a good job, but I think what happened is with Ergashev is like a lot of guys, he fell into the trap of just standing there in the pocket with him.
Yeah, he did.
That's where he does most of his work.
That's where he wanted to be at.
That's why I gave Michel Rivera so much credit for his conditioning, because that's not an easy style to implement over the course of 10 rounds. Like you pointed out, he was on that back foot, and not how most people consider the back foot, but he was like moving. Wasn't
he?
For 10 rounds straight.
Yep, did it throughout. That was very noticeable. And he was moving well too, effective. It wasn't like running to keep away or anything, you know?
Yeah. He was using that jab as he was moving too. Yeah, and that's how you would have to do with Subriel, man. That's how you would have to do with him.
Yeah.
Is just keep him moving. Because that last fight that he had with Jeremias Ponce started off similar to Ergashev, where he boxed from the outside, landed some good shots, had a terrific round, and then just inexplicably started trading with this guy.
Yep. The very next round, he started trading with him and got stopped the same way. It would have to be somebody moving like that, and you had to be in condition to be able to do it effectively for 10 rounds or 12 rounds. Yeah.
I don't think that you would have to move that much, but maybe just even if you were to just turn him, continually turn him.
Yeah, they were saying that last night. What about Devin Haney?
Possibly,
What do you think
but
about
I think that Devin. I think that Devin is conditioned enough, and I think he's disciplined enough to keep him on the outside. Deb has a pretty nice. He's got an understated body attack. We saw it against Loma.
Yeah,
and we know that Matias doesn't have the feet of Loma, so I can see Devin just stabbing him to the body. And I did notice that the one shot that Ergashev landed that did show some effect on Matias. It was that stab to the body. He stabbed him with that left hand, and he dropped back.
Yeah, it went back. Yes, it did. All the way back into the roots. Al Booker says Tio. I don't think so, Al Booker. I don't know.
But that's how you would have to do him. I said that's how you would have to do him. That's how you would have to do him, because Matias, that guy is a rock'em sock'em robot, man.
I know. All he wants to do is stand there, and he don't mind getting hit.
No, but there comes a point in time where you could be a little too tough for your own good.
That's true.
Just because you have a chin doesn't mean that you always got to put it on display. Yeah.
And some punches, like somebody like Tank, it don't matter how good your chin is. You get caught right, you're going down.
Yep, especially if they accumulate. Yeah. You just saw that most recently with, what's my guy's name? With Villa, because Villa has a nice chin on him. He's got a nice chin.
Man. Yeah.
And we saw Rashidi Ellis early on was putting the boot by bang on him, and he was able to withstand it. And eventually, he got to Rashidi. He was able to slow him down a tad bit. But then against Boots, he couldn't take those punches but for so long. Like, he took some damn good shots before he got dropped, but that accumulation, that's
what it was. And Tank would be able to box him pretty good too, turn him and stuff. So
yep, turn him and pop him, and eventually you're gonna get worn down.
Yeah,
because you can be as tough as you want, but the body has limits.
That's right. Like you say, he's too tough for his own good. He just want to stand there and trade back and forth. It's going to catch up with him eventually. And getting there against somebody that he's not going to be able to wear down like that. They're going to move him, turn him, move, pop. It is going to catch up with him. But that's how I expected that fight to go, though. And how you think about Jamal? I thought Jamal looked pretty good for being out of the ring as long as he was.
I agree. One thing that I was really impressed with him was his technique.
Yeah. And Jose Benavidez, that's the best I've seen him look. He wasn't bad. He just couldn't match Jamal, but he wasn't bad at all. I think
Jose's in a tough spot, man. I think he's in a tough spot.
But why you say that?
Because if you just look at him and everything that he presents, right?
Yeah.
At some of the smaller weight classes, maybe 154, I don't think that he maybe doesn't have the athleticism to deal with some of those guys.
Yeah.
But then around, 160, 168, I don't know if he has the size to compete with those guys. Yeah. So he's like in a real tough spot.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's like you're not big enough to be with these guys, but you're not athletic enough to deal with these guys.
Down there, right where he should be at, right?
You know, so it's real tough.
Real tough.
He looks better. I think part of it is that leg.
Yeah, that's true. That's what Coach Kenny said. That's always going to put him at a disadvantage. One of Tank's coaches. Yeah, I heard him say that. And but I think he looked better than he did against Danny, than when he fought Danny Garcia the other time. His last fight, I think it was. Yeah.
No, his last fight, he got a stoppage. He stopped the guy. It was a 5th round TKO.
Oh, he fought
Looked
somebody
pretty
since
solid
then?
in that one. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that. I didn't see that one. Okay.
So my thing is, I don't know how much of his performance can be attributed to, the lack of mobility.
Yeah.
And how much of that lack of mobility can be attributed to his style. And what I mean by that is, he has a lot of times where he'll stand there and he'll just put his guard up and he'll just be stationary, just like not doing anything. He won't be feinting. He won't be active.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, he's just standing there doing nothing. He's just a sitting duck at times.
I noticed it. And then sometimes he have a tendency to play around too. Pose.
Yeah, posturing and stuff. Yeah,
he does that in all his fights. That's not good.
He's a tough guy though, man. I gotta give him a lot of credit for his mental fortitude. He's a very tough guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jose Benavidez.
Yeah, because Maul was putting some shots on him.
Rugged guy. Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like if it wasn't for Harvey Dock, there's a chance that he could have hit that deck, man. Because I don't know what the infraction was that made Harvey Dock step in and intervene, but in that last round, it was getting real.
Oh yeah,
it was getting real serious in there, man.
Yeah, Maul got upset when Doc stopped it too, because he kind of pushed Doc. He didn't push him, but he kind of shrugged him off a little bit. Remember, did you notice that? He got pissed off at that. I think he kind of knew he had him. He could have had him too. Yeah.
Yeah, he almost had a moment like Juan Jose Velasco a couple weeks ago. Remember we were watching that and he shoved the ref?
Oh yeah, Pro Box.
Pro Box, yeah.
With the lady
like Maul was about to have one of those moments.
Yeah, man. I don't know why Doc stepped in there either. I didn't see anything at all.
Neither did I. So I was curious to see
go back and watch
what his reason for intervening was.
Yeah, he told him to stop talking. You can talk.
Yeah, stop talking. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. But it was a good fight. It went 10 rounds. Jose, I didn't think Jose was going to make it, but he made it. He made it 10 rounds.
I'll say this too. I think that's a great thing for. I thought it was a great thing for Jamal for him to get them rounds in.
Yeah, yes it was.
I thought it was great for him to be out
over 2 years, man.
Over 2 years, exactly. So for him to be out for over 2 years to get 10 rounds in, that's probably what was more necessary for him as opposed to just going in there and asserting his dominance and just blowing this guy out the water. Because if he would have just knocked him out,
that wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, but you got to get those rounds in to get that rust off and get yourself in rhythm, get yourself acclimated.
Yeah, he needed that.
It seemed like early on he was going through the motions a little bit, but then Jose caught him with a nice right hand, and that woke him up. Then you started seeing him using head movement and stuff like that, and using his legs a little bit better, using his jab more. Because he was posturing a little bit at first.
At first, he was kind of like a...
It woke him up, man. That right hand woke him up. And then it's like that muscle memory kicked in. Yep.
And he got busy. I was surprised Mel wasn't there. You know how they always in each other's corner? That's the first time I ever seen one of them fight where the other one wasn't there. I was surprised about that. I wonder what the deal was with that.
Well, they've been feuding for some time now, so hopefully those guys are able to reconcile and repair whatever's been going on within their relationship.
Yeah. I didn't think it would get to the point where they wouldn't be there for each other at a fight. I've never seen that before. But I don't know.
That's how it is sometimes,
Yeah, that's true.
People grow apart and they got to find a way to mend their situation and find their way back to each other. I believe they will eventually, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They twins, they've been together forever, They will. And then the last fight was Benavidez and Andrade. What was Andrade? When he got in trouble, instead of holding on or clinching, he just tried to stand there and fight his way out of it. I thought that was a big mistake.
I agree. Because he did a fantastic job in the first 3 rounds.
Yes, he did.
Of moving and being active, but then I think that he was probably trying to establish himself and gain the respect, as people like to say, but sometimes that shit don't win fights, man. You just gotta just be smart sometimes.
Gotta be smart. Took the words out my mouth. I was screaming at the TV, and I knew he was gonna get him. He wouldn't clinch. He just stood there and tried to
fight.
And Thomas Taylor told his corner, "I'm not watching another round like that. It was one way." Well, he got a couple good combinations in, but it wasn't having any kind of effect on Benavidez.
Nah, and he landed a nice little left hand to the body in the 4th round that folded Benavidez up momentarily. He doubled over. So that was a nice left hand.
That last one. Yeah, he did. He had some good moments early. He was coming in on angles and stuff the first few rounds. And
he was doing a great job. And I have to give Benavidez a lot of credit for some of the wrinkles that he displayed. And I was pointing out to my guy Angelo, because we watched the fight together last night.
Okay.
Out in Brooklyn, and I was pointing out to him before the fight when they went in the locker rooms, when Benavidez was doing his mitt work, he was moving his head and changing levels and stuff. I was like, man, this is awesome to see from him.
Yeah.
Seeing his development, because we're looking at a guy that's essentially learning on the job, and just his attitude and his ferocity have been able to make up for the things that he lacks from a technical standpoint. So you got guys who are more seasoned than him. They've got more experience in him,
Yeah. And
again, 15 amateur fights, and that was what, his 27 professional fight?
Yeah.
So
how old? He's
not learning on the job, man.
Yeah.
And he's not that old. Yeah, he's only 26. Like you said, he's a very young man. So
yeah. What do you think about him and Canelo? I would like to see
Canelo.
that.
I think it's a great fight.
Yeah. If we get it.
I think it's a tremendous fight. I think we will.
Yeah.
I think we will, because I feel like the pressure from the public demand is going to be so great that at some point he's going to have to oblige.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to need that fight on his record for his legacy too.
Oh yeah. Well, he's never going to hit the end of it.
Never going to live that down forever. He'll be about 80 years old and people still be asking, why did you fight Benavidez? Yeah. But I like the cards. Did you see the women's fight?
Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor?
Yeah, Katie Taylor.
That was a rugged fight, man. They were getting to it. That's how the women always are. They're scrappy.
Always. That's set up for a trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
They each other's only loss. They both won by majority decision. That's perfect. And it should be their next fight, because they did the rematch immediately. Now do the third one right away. And I like the other, what's her name, Scott Nicholson. I like her. She seemed like she hold that jab out there, like she always can be at the perfect range where she can touch her opponent, but they can never reach her. She must have a nice reach or something on her. Did you see Scott Nicholson fight?
I think I missed the Scott Nicholson, if I'm not mistaken. I did watch, what's his name? I thought he gave a better account of himself.
Yeah.
What's my guy's name? Gary Cully. Did you watch that fight?
No, I only saw the two women fights. I missed everything else.
Okay.
Yeah. Gary Cully.
Gary Cully. Yeah, that prospect, the tall gentleman with all the tattoos.
Oh yeah, him. Right. He's English, right? Is he from England?
If I'm not mistaken, I think he's from the UK somewhere. One of those countries in the United Kingdom, man.
Yeah, because they kind of big on him over there.
Yeah, they were very high on him because he was knocking a lot of guys out, man. He was doing his thing. But then in this previous fight, he got knocked out. And I will say this though, when I was watching that fight, he looked a little bit apprehensive at times when the guy was coming forward, and he would make the guy miss, but he wouldn't take advantage of the countering opportunities.
Oh, okay.
So it seemed like that was in the back of his mind.
Yeah.
You know, that knockout. Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Lamont Roach and Hector. I don't think he was in here yet. What do you think about that fight? Hector was, I don't know what's wrong with Hector. He wasn't aggressive at all. He wasn't jabbed. Looked like he kept just waiting the whole fight for Roach. The whole entire fight. He had some moments, but for the most part, like he just wanted to counter. That's not how he fought Colbert or Gutierrez when he was on the way to the title, remember? What happened to him? Did you see that fight?
I watched some of it. Because we were actually in the car.
Yeah.
On our way to go watch the fight. And I saw some of it on my phone.
Yeah. What's wrong with Hector?
I was a little bit concerned for Hector coming into the fight, though, to be honest with you.
From the Tank situation?
Part of it was that, but more so just the way his body looked. When I was looking at the weigh-in and stuff, like he looked a little soft.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he didn't. I don't know. He wouldn't let his hands go, and I've seen a lot of times he could have been punching, but he just like was waiting for Roach to go first so he could try to counter, and he wouldn't have all that much success doing that.
That point that you just made, that probably played a factor as well. You know, you get hit upside your head so hard to the point where you lose vision momentarily.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame anybody for being apprehensive.
He looked kind of gunshot to me. But he in there against Roach. Roach not even known for power at all. You know?
Yeah, but it's kind of like when people have a fear of dogs, right? You get bit by one dog, now you're wary of all dogs.
Could be a little small one. It don't make no difference. That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. He lost his title. Yeah. That knockdown in the 12th he hit him behind the head, but he shouldn't have needed that. But the way the judges had the cards, he kind of needed it because one judge gave it to Hector and one judge gave it to Roach 114, 113. So if he don't get that knockdown in the 12th round, he probably loses. Because the other judge wouldn't have had that 10-8 round. That would have been with the Hector. So what's the guy on Showtime? Is it Harold Letterman or the other? I get them mixed up. Steve Farhood.
It's Steve Farhood.
Farhood, yeah, I agree with him yesterday.
Letterman was on HBO.
Right. Farhood had it 117, 111, and I agree with him for a change. He kind of had it right, and one judge had it 116, 111 or something like that. He was right, but I think the other 114, 113 was kind of too close. I thought Roach was winning rounds just by being busy. Hector was just walking around the ring, waiting for him to go first so he could try to counter him. What's up, Albert?
Well, I think what that suggests is the business of boxing. They probably had some ulterior motives for Hector.
Something
they had a whole other plan in place.
Yeah. That wasn't Hector. That wasn't the guy that beat Chris Colbert and Gutierrez when he was on the way to that WBA strap. He was aggressive and countering everything in those two fights. I bet you Colbert wish he had fought him like that. Because he was piecing Colbert up.
Yeah, but we also got to take into consideration that this is a different Hector Luis Garcia. Every time these guys get into the ring, it's a variant of the guy. Because we don't know what the guy's camp was like, whether he's suffering from some sort of post-traumatic stress.
Yeah,
from
those two fights.
You know what I mean? Getting knocked upside the head last time.
Right, that was pretty tight.
Even what happens in camp sometimes. Sometimes guys sustain injuries in camp. And as fans, we don't want to hear excuses, but these guys are human beings, not robots. So these things happen.
We don't want to hear it, but you got to give them the benefit of the doubt sometimes too. You're right. Yep. That's true. Al Booker says that I can see how different judges could have scored their fight differently. Yeah, that's a good point. Because it was close. A lot of them rounds, because neither one of them was doing all that much. And, one or two punches in the last couple of seconds could have swayed rounds. The Hector was trying to do that too. He was trying to steal rounds at the end, like the last 10, 15 seconds. he would try to come on and be real aggressive at the end, but it didn't work because Roach coach picked up on that and told him to watch that. You know, that's exactly what Hector was trying to do. Because if the rounds were that close, you could have pulled it out at like the last 10 or 15 seconds. So I see what Al Booker's saying, or how he can see how the judges could have scored it differently. Because it was that kind of fight. Yeah. It was that kind of fight. But it was a good night altogether, though. Looking at all the fights.
Absolutely. I enjoyed what I saw. I wish we could have saw Carmel, but that was off TV.
I know. They showed Melnicki and they showed Lipinets and Rivera. They didn't show all the rest of the cards that was on the that was before the cable part. It was more though, wasn't it? Carmel and a couple more, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were quite a few fights because, and I was only privy to those because L-Dub was talking about it. I follow him on Twitter. Shout out to L-Dub Boxing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he was giving his play-by-play commentary on Twitter as to how the off-TV bouts were going.
No, he usually show most of those fights on YouTube though. Most of the time.
Yeah, during the preliminaries.
Yeah, but they only showed two: Melnicki and Rivera and Lipinets.
I thought Melnicki he did a good job himself, man. He did a really good job because that guy that he was in there with had gave some other guys quite the challenge. That dude, he had a good fight with Adames, and there was somebody else that he had just fought recently, and he gave a much better account of himself. So
what was the 3 knockdowns?
What the guy's name is?
Wasn't it 3?
Yeah, it was about 3.
One round, yeah. Hey, Al Booker. Yep. Yeah, Al Booker said Katie Taylor and Chantel Cameron. That should be a trilogy, shouldn't it? The trilogy is set up for that. Perfect.
Oh yes. That's the guy. That's the guy who went. He went the distance with Xander Zayas. Salazar with the distance with Xander Zayas.
Yeah. Yep. It is. I remember that fight. I saw that. That was him. I didn't even make that connection.
That was less than a year ago. That was December of 2022. So 11 months ago.
That. Yeah.
When 11 rounds with Xander and Melnicki got him up out of there in 1 round. That's extremely impressive for a young guy.
Yes.
Because Melnicki is a young guy himself too, man. He just turned 21. He turned pro, I want to say, at 17. He's just 21. Just turned 21. He's got 17.
Yeah, 16-1. He lost one time to somebody.
Yep. Some guy, James Martin. I didn't watch that fight. I gotta watch it though.
Okay.
They have it as a majority decision, that loss. So it was real close. 77. The score is 76, 76, 75, 77, 73, 79.
That's one of the fights Al Booker was just talking about. You can see how different the judges can score differently because the rounds be so close. But they said, I didn't realize this. They said there has never been a woman's trilogy. What's up, Just Do Boxing? I did not realize that. But I guess it is. They said there's never been a woman's trilogy fight.
Maybe not amongst prominent fighters, because I've read something the other day.
Yeah, it had to be.
And they said they've had them before, but from my understanding, they weren't televised.
Against name fighters too, like like a Katie Taylor and a very Chantel Cameron type.
Yeah. Ladies with notoriety.
Yeah, that should be their next fight, because like they did the rematch was immediately next, so the trilogy should be like around springtime or something, early spring. It'd be the very next fight. And Sky Nicholson is trying to fight Amanda Serrano next. She in that division. I don't think she's ready for it. She'll make a man to work, but I don't know.
Yeah, the operative word there is work, though, and you know that Serrano is no stranger to that. That's all she does is work.
That's right.
She's a machine, man. That woman is fierce.
Yes, she is. She just fought them 12 3-minute rounds.
Exactly.
And Ramos didn't have no big problem doing it either. The girl she was fighting, they both did okay. showed they had the stamina and the skills to make the 12 3-minute round. I wish they would go ahead and do it. The WBC, though. Salute to Just Do Boxing in the building. What do you think about the fights, Just Do? I know you enjoyed them.
Respect to my guy, Just Do Boxing. Always giving boxing its just due.
Yeah. Always pulling up. Just Do give me big props. Give me a little credibility, somebody like Just Do coming in here, man, you know. Established YouTube boxing guy like him. I appreciate it. I'm gonna put the link back in there. Maybe he wanna come up here. And so next weekend is Ryan Garcia under Derek James. That'll be interesting. Just to see that, you know.
Absolutely. Have you seen Ryan lately?
No, I haven't seen anything since he's been in camp with Derek at all.
I'll say this, from a conditioning standpoint, I think he's going to be tremendous. I think he's going to be in tremendous shape. I was looking at the photos of him, and man, he's got definition in his body. He looks like he's filling out nice at 140. The hand speed looks very, very good. I was watching a video of him doing mitt work with his dad, and I was noticing a lot of the mitt work wasn't just predicated around offense, but also transitioning between offense and defense and offense. He was doing a lot of parrying and stuff, which, you know, parrying and catching and blocking shots is a staple of Derek James' defense.
Yeah.
His guys aren't really relying on upper body movement too much. It's your feet and your hands.
Yeah.
Catching shots. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting. This guy Duarte, like we were talking about, he's going to make Ryan do a little work. Ryan, it's just not going to be no pushover. I like how they just didn't pick up some little soft touch for him like that. That was designed for him to go in there and beat up, you know?
Yeah, but I think that he's the right opponent because he does present a level of danger.
Yeah.
If you're not on point, you can get caught slipping.
Yep.
You know, he's not going to be a guy that's just a complete walk in the park. He does have his issues that can be exploited, but with his athleticism, his power, and with his mentality, he presents enough of a challenge to keep you honest.
Yeah, I watched him a little bit, and it seemed like he was easy to hit, kind of like. That's one thing I noticed about him. You know? He's there to be touched. Maybe it was just them couple fights. I don't know.
Who? Duarte?
Duarte, yeah. Kind of slow, like.
Yeah. No, he's got some solid hand speed for sure, Duarte.
Okay.
He's got solid hand speed. The one thing that I did notice with Duarte more than anything, and I'm probably gonna end up just uploading this video to the Daily Motion, and then I'll send it to you in the group text that we have with Thomas. But Duarte, the number one issue that he has is footwork issues. Like primarily when he leaves his feet a lot when he throws punches, and then he's falling in a little bit too close. So I can see a scenario in which he's falling in too close, and Ryan is going to be able to counter him, maybe with like a straight right hand, or maybe with like a left hook straight right hand combination, something like that. Left hook, and then follow it up with a straight right hand, like right on the button.
That'd be all she wrote.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is Rolly doing?
But the guy is a workhorse, though, man. He's a workhorse.
Duarte?
He work. Yeah, Duarte works, man. He's got a high motor.
That's what Ryan needs. Somebody to push him, make him work. You know. Because I was thinking that there's going to be Ryan and Rolly after this. I haven't heard nothing about Rolly since he won the belts. It's about time for him to fight again, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. Because it's been at least, 6-7 months now at this point?
Yeah. You know the guy he beat, Barroso? He's in a title eliminator for that belt. I forgot in next month. He might be on the Ryan Garcia card. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice to see him get another shot at Rolling? No, they're not gonna allow that though. He's too dangerous. He might much rather take that belt. They have to cheat him again. Yeah, but he's fighting somebody in a title eliminator next month. They just do call him Big Watch Barroso.
Yeah, his watch was big. He definitely had one of those gas station. You know, you get the gas station watch with the cubic zirconias in it.
I sent that
Big
article.
gold watch.
Did you get it? The one about the boxing southpaw versus orthodox benefits?
Oh, let me check my phone.
It's in the chat, that message thing with Thomas that we be on. And the whole thing just printed out in it. I didn't mean for it to go like that, but it's in there. Yeah. You coming on today, Just Do? And so next week, who else is on that Ryan Garcia card? Let me pull it up here. Let me pull it up. I got so much stuff here. Boots. Yeah, where's Boots at? Where's Boots? Oh yeah, I made a women's pound for pound list too. Where is it? I'll talk about my women's pound for pound list. Where is it? Versus orthodox. I can't find it. I cannot find my women's pound for pound list. I can't remember right off the top. I know who was. You know who number one was. Everybody knows who's number one on the women's pound for pound list, right? The Goat. Oh, plus Katie Taylor becomes the third person to be two-time undisputed in the four-bout era, joining Terrence Crawford and Clarissa Shields. Monster anyway probably will be joining them next month.
I'm officially back.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see any what's name in here. There's no link in here.
Oh, the one where Thomas is in the messenger.
That 240 number is you, correct?
Yeah, that's me. You didn't see it?
Nope.
Maybe I didn't send it right.
Last message I got from you is no live for Cat Sports today. Traveling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the one before that. Yeah, I'm gonna try it again. But did you know they say that Katie Taylor was only the third person to be two-time undisputed in the four-belt era, joining Terrence Crawford and Clarissa Shields. I can't think of anybody else two-time. Just them three, right?
Neither can I.
Monster will be joining them next month, though. Anyway, end of December, he fights for undisputed at 122. You know, he already had it at 118. So I can't see that guy giving him any trouble. Nah. Yeah. What's next for Benavidez?
He says if he can't get the Canelo fight, he would like to fight David Morrell. That would be a fantastic fight.
Then he says something about going up to 175 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And better be or Bivol. I would like to rather see him and Bivol.
You think so?
Yeah. Because
why is that?
Because it's going to be like a chess match. Bivol will give him some movement and boxing. I want to see Benavidez because Benavidez is just going to be like Benavidez can box, but he's not going to come at Benavidez. I think it'll be more like a slug match type thing. You rather see Benavidez and Benavidez?
Give me either one. I'm not picky. Okay. I'm very low maintenance.
Okay. I made a woman's pound for pound list. Do you follow the women like that?
I would say I follow them enough.
I made a woman's pound for pound list.
What you got on there?
Number one, you know who's number one?
Clarissa?
Yeah. Number two, I got Amanda Serrano. 3 is Chantel Cameron.
Okay.
4, I got Alicia Baumgartner.
Okay.
Now I know 5, nobody agrees with 5. I got Shadeja Green. That was kind of like a favoritism type thing. I should have had Katie Taylor there.
See, but I also think it depends on the criteria for the list too, right? Because pound for pound, when that whole notion was conceived, it wasn't necessarily predicated around accolades and accomplishment. Yeah, part of it. But the main thing was, okay, if these two people were on even playing field in regard to size, how would this fight play? Right. You know what I mean?
I look at it like everybody, if there could possibly just be one weight class, you know? And then you rank them. And
when you're placing more of the emphasis on
skill. Yeah, not accolades and championships and all that type of stuff. Now, if it's the two people that's real close and you can't distinguish what spot, then I would go to resume as a tiebreaker, not titles and all that kind of stuff. I would use resume as the first tiebreaker, you know, before championships and all that type of stuff. But then look at Rolly. Rolly got a championship. He ain't on nobody's pound for pound list. So you can't use belts and all that type of thing. Because to me, they don't mean all that. They mean something, but But after I had number 6, I had Savannah Marshall. 7, Jessica McCaskill. 8, Anissa Estrada. 9, Natasha Jonas. 10, Katie Taylor. I probably should have switched Katie Taylor and Deja Green around. Well, Just Do says he has terrible service. He wants to come up. Just Do, are you coming on today? You still there? What's Katie Taylor? What was that? That was a while back. Yeah. It was Al Booker. Yeah. I must have lost it. Okay,
my cat. Oh, no, it was my cat, man. It was my cat. My cat stepped on my. Because I was away from my laptop. I got my AirPods on, so I'm walking around the house, picking this up, picking that up. But yeah, now I'm back on my laptop. I think my cat stepped on my thing and muted me. But yeah, the two. I like the list. It's a good list. Yeah. It's a good list.
Did you hear the part I said about
the two ladies I'm most interested in is yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. I agree 1,000%. Like I'm saying, accolades and accomplishments are conditional.
Right.
It's about opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunities being presented because you got some guys, like for example, right? We saw most recently Boots Ennis got awarded the IBF title, but we knew the guy could fight beforehand, right?
Before that,
yeah, but if he hadn't been offered this, if he hadn't been awarded this title, who knows when he might have gotten a title shot. The guy is 32, 33 and 0. And then meanwhile, you got some other guys where they're on the fast track, like Rolly has 20 fights or something like that. He's a titleist.
Ain't on nobody's pound for pound list.
Yeah.
But he got a title.
It's all about opportunities, man. It's all about opportunities.
That's right.
And I don't want to say this to
Perfect
diminish
example.
Devin Haney in any way, because I think that he's a fantastic fighter. But look at his situation with Kambosos.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell you can tell me that if Shakur Stevenson or Tank Davis or even Frank Martin, any of those guys were in that position, they wouldn't have been able to come undisputed as well. And it's a terrific accomplishment for sure. He's going down in the history books, and I give him a lot of credit for defending his undisputed status against Lomachenko. So I give him a lot of credit for that. But just that alone, you're fighting against a guy with 3 belts. 3 belts.
Yeah,
you're able to win him. It's not like you had to. It's not like you had to clean out the division in order to achieve that. Got them all off of one guy, which is ideal for him, because undisputed is undisputed no matter how you get it.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. It would be more impressive if you'd have been like this, something like 130 is. If one guy come out with all of that and beat the other 3,
Yes, because all of the belts are dispersed.
That would be more impressive.
Because all of the belts are dispersed.
Yeah. Now that would be impressive. I mean, Devin is impressive too, like you say, but I'd say that would be more to me. Like 4 people got him, and then you just had like a round robin or something, and one person just get all of them. You got to beat all the other 3 to get them. That's how Undisputed probably was meant to be, But really, we shouldn't have all these belts in the first place. So.
Yeah, we shouldn't, but of course, people want to get paid. It's a way to
we have
keep money circulating. Guys got to pay fees, and then not only that, but it's also a promotional. It's also a promotional tactic as well. It's a way in which the entities can leverage various fights. If you're saying, well, this is a WBC title fight, or this is an IBF title fight, or this is a WBA title fight, now it makes it seem as though the event is that much more spectacular than what it is.
Yeah, and to the casual fan, it is. To hear that put on the title.
Yeah, because having it be a title fight, it changes the stakes of the fight. Yeah. Now it feels like these guys are fighting for, just a little bit more.
Right. It sounds better. Say John Jones against Paul Smith, and then you say John Jones against Paul Smith for the WBA championship. It's more attractive.
Yep.
And just about every fight nowadays got some kind of regular interim something attached to it.
Yep. Intercontinental, WBC Silver, or European, NABO, and all of these other things, which I do feel as though those things are important as well.
Yeah.
To some degree, because as L-Dub was breaking it down one day so eloquently, a lot of those, fledgling titles, if you will, they speak to the contention of that fighter. So, like, if you win the NABO, that's putting you in contention for something else. Yeah, but true. I don't feel as though you need to attach a title to it. You can just have the regular ranking system to be like, okay, this guy is wherever he is in the rankings, whether he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, and just keep it like that.
Keep it like that, yeah. Because this card last night, the main card for the men, every fight had some kind of title attached to it.
Yes.
Something. That's just how it is. That's a perfect example of what you were saying. Promotional, money, all of that stuff.
But the only thing is, after a certain point in time, if you do that too much, then, okay, how special is this fight? Because if this guy's the champion and I've never heard of him before, or this guy's in contention for a championship and I've never heard of him before,
and then
how much merit do these titles hold?
And then you get a card where you say, well, this guy, the first fight is for the WBA interim, then the last fight is for the WBA super. Then you say, well, who's the champion? It waters it down too. Like you say, they could do it, they could overdo it doing that too, Yeah, they can definitely overdo it. Remember we were talking about UFC the other day, me, you and Remo, about how they don't worry about O's and They had the ranking system and they fight
Nope.
each other and everything. But they don't have all those four different sanctioning companies and all that stuff. It's Dana White, you know?
Yep.
So that's what boxing needs. Just one person or organization running it. You can have the sanctioning bodies, but have somebody just at the top running, not running it, but just overseeing everything. Like somebody get a mandatory, you got to fight it. You don't get to, just go by the rules at least. They don't even go by their own rules. Look what happened to Bud. That's what I wanted to ask you, Ed. I don't think I've asked you this. I asked a couple people. Now that situation with Bud, he was ordered to fight Boots in the mandatory, right? But then Earl had I don't know. Earl was supposed to get the rematch with him, right? What takes precedence, the rematch or the mandatory?
I would assume it would be the rematch since there were contractual obligations.
Yeah, because the rematch was in the
This stuff was already negotiated
before he was even champion. So that I don't know how they could strip him. It just didn't seem right. But they did it, so. But that's what I'm saying. They need somebody.
But you know how it goes, though. Many of us in the community are Errol Spence fans, so then, of course, we're going to say, well, this guy has no intention of fighting Jerron Boots, and so they should just strip him anyway.
Yeah, but that wasn't in the rules.
There's a lot of favoritism on our part that we want to impart on our guy, and we don't give the other guy the same grace. So,
yeah,
I agree with you. It may have been a little bit. It may have been a little premature, but. Yeah. Who knows? Because these guys say one thing one day, and then, like anybody else, like you, like myself, they're entitled to have a change of heart. Or circumstances just change.
They said, Bird said he wasn't going to fight him, but I see why they stripped him. But I say the rules don't say you stripped him because of what he said. You still got to go by the rules. I don't care what he said.
Exactly, because he can say one thing one day.
Right.
And then the situation can change on another day.
Yeah.
Because who knows? Maybe they find the right funding. Because to me, that's what it seemed to be with Boots and it's not an issue of Bud not wanting to fight him. No. But he's in the space right now where, he's going to be in a big fight. He wants money, and rightfully so.
Money. That's right.
Yeah, that's 35. He's been a champ at 135, undisputed at 140, newly minted undisputed at 147. And the guy wants to get paid. He wants to get paid.
Yeah. And if he could
he's likely gonna be riding off into the sunset too. He's in the twilight of his career, the back half of his prime, so he wants to be paid accordingly. And a fight with Jerron Ennis, who knows? Now, again, I think that if they can find the funding to where he can be compensated the way in which he wants to be, I don't think that he would turn that fight down.
Nah. I don't think so, neither.
But that's the thing that we have to take into consideration as fans. It's like, who's going to pay that for Jerron Ennis right now?
Yeah. I think
does he have the cachet?
For the right money, he probably would like to test his skills against somebody like Boots. I think he would. Because
I think Jerron Ennis will fight him for far less than what Boots would fight. I mean, what Bud would fight him for.
Definitely. Most definitely.
But it's just because of where they are in their careers. Just because of where they are in their careers. I think the fact that he's even entertaining, and he, meaning Bud Crawford, the fact that he's even entertaining a fight with Canelo at 168, I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
To where he is in his career. Mm-hmm. That's a situation that could be extremely problematic. Because Canelo is a guy who campaigns up there.
Right.
To go up to 168 in your one fight from 147, and you're talking about fighting a guy like Canelo. That's a tall task. That's 21 pounds. That's not even a step up. That's a quantum leap.
Yeah. Just look at the last guy that tried it.
Yeah, but the caveat there is that will be a big money fight for Bud.
Yes, it would.
So win, lose, or draw, he's cashing out.
He's cashing out.
Win, lose, or draw against Bucenic, you may not be, you're gonna make some money, but it's not gonna be what it would be for a Canelo fight, or what you would even be able to negotiate in a Canelo fight. Because let's say even if you take a small split, 30% of whatever the hell Canelo is bringing in is likely going to be a lot more than 70% of whatever you would make with somebody else.
That's true. Definitely. No question. Yeah. So you can't blame him.
I know I can't. Cash out, man. I want everybody to get paid.
Yeah.
Heck, I'm trying to get paid. I want to get paid. You know what I mean? Like, I got bills to take care of. I got 2 little kids. I got a lady and everything. So I got things that I need to sort out. I'm trying to get paid out too. I'm trying to get paid
too.
The
most you can. That's all. Get
the most you can. Right. Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's people in everyday life doing the same thing, but then they'll blame him for what he doing.
Yeah, within their own realm. You're trying to. Everybody's trying to maximize what they get within their own space.
But because he's this big celebrity, they can't equate that to their situation. But it's the same thing. It's just
same thing. It's just a different scale.
That's all. Yep.
And then not only that, but again, there's that emotional investment. Like, hey, he did this to our guy. This guy is so shady and he's so dishonest and he's a piece of crap and this guy is a scumbag this, scumbag that. Yeah. But how many instances can we point to in which this guy has done something that was unfavorable, or were we not paying attention before, or now has it come to our attention because our guy didn't get the result that we believed that he would? That's
the big part of it. People point to that Avenesian thing. I don't think that was that bad because he was just trying to get a fight. They was going back and forth on the Earl negotiations, and there was a lot of time going past. So he said, "I'm going to get this fight, but I want to come back to it," which he did,
And he did, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Earl probably should have did the same thing.
And he went to Ford. He went and fought Avenesian and such. And I think it was smart too.
Why didn't Earl do that? He could have got a fight in.
You know why? It's because of the brand that he established for himself.
Okay.
I don't take no tune-ups, only hard fights and such and such, such and such.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with a tune-up. Like all of that no tune-up stuff, yeah, it's glorious, but it's better to keep yourself in peak condition. L Dub pointed something out, part of the argument that a lot of folks neglect to recognize. And that's some of the things that he did in that fight against Errol. Yeah. He was working on it in the Avenesian fight.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you can work on certain things and get paid for it, you might look at it like it's a glorified sparring match, but essentially you're able to put things to the test and get paid for it. Maximize your profitability. And what's wrong with that?
Nothing at all.
I wish Errol would have taken some tune-ups, even in between the Ugas fight and Danny Garcia fight, because it was like a year off from that too. I wish he would have taken some tune-ups.
He had a lot of layoffs.
Lot of layoffs.
Long ones.
Yep.
Because that fight with Bud, that was like the second fight in like 2 years or something. The Ugas fight. Then he didn't fight the Pacquiao fight. He had fought. Who was it? Was it Porter before Ugas? No. What?
No, it was Danny Garcia.
And that was in 21. In the 21, wasn't it?
Yep.
So yeah, he had like 2 fights in about 2 years before Bud.
Yep.
Wasn't it? Something like that, yeah. So
he should have got a fight. Even the Ugas fight was last April.
Yeah,
that fight was last April, and then the Bud fight was in was in July. So you got about a what is that? A 15-month layoff?
15 months. Yeah. So he should have.
You can't blame this other man. I was sitting around waiting on him. No. Keep yourself active in between time.
So they get mad at the other man because he wouldn't sit around with him, I guess. Bud wouldn't got himself a fight.
Right?
You can't blame Bud for that. No.
Right?
No.
And he was extra prepared. He was extra.
Yeah.
It paid tremendous dividends.
People don't lie. People don't look at that. They say, well, Earl, look, something was in the locker room and all. But they're not looking at, look how long it was since he fought. And Bud got a tune-up in. Look at nobody talking about that. Nobody.
And with another tune-up comes what? Another camp.
Another camp.
Yep.
You get the fight. You got the actual fight in there, rounds, actual fighting action.
Yep.
Earl didn't have any of that. None of that. And like you said, Bud was in there training, practicing stuff for Earl in the Ebenezer fight. Yeah. I remember Womack said when he was on Jay's channel that they wasn't overlooking nobody, but when they were in like a few camps before the Earl fight, they was working on stuff for him. While at the same time they was working on fights for other people. Like they had been working on Earl for years. They knew that fight was coming. Yeah.
And that's how you do it. That's how you're supposed to do it.
I think we're gonna get the rematch.
Be present, but also look several steps ahead.
That's
and
right.
Just recognize that this is a natural progression.
Yeah.
Towards that. Towards whatever that thing is, you know?
Yeah. What would you rather? I know everybody would rather see the rematch at 54, I guess. 154.
I mean, wherever it takes place, I just hope that my guy is better prepared. I hope that he's in better health, because that's the other thing about boxing. You know, when you're practicing, you're literally putting hands on people and getting hands put on you.
That's the
so
thing about, right.
You're gonna come into a fight nicked up.
Yeah.
You're gonna come into a fight nicked up.
That's the only sport like that.
Yep, you're gonna come into it nicked up.
You can't.
Like nobody goes into the ring 100%.
Never.
But being able to manage or minimize the damage that you're going into a fight with, you know, I believe that's crucial.
Thomas Morris told me a story. He said he read this book that Sugar Ray Leonard had wrote, and he said before, when he was training for the Hagler fight, he got knocked out cold in sparring.
Who said that?
Sugar Ray Leonard. Thomas Morris told me that it was in a book he read.
I can believe it, man. I can believe it. I was watching that Andre Ward, Chad Dawson face off a couple months back, and I had to go rewatch it because Andre Ward did an interview in which he talked about, you know, what he said to Chad Dawson.
Yeah, oh, right. Yeah, I remember you told me about what he said.
And he said, oh, I heard about what happened to Spawn.
Yeah.
You know, these things get around, things circulate.
They get out. Yep. But that Sugar Ray Leonard getting knocked out go to what you was just talking about how you when you preparing for the fight, it's not like any other sport. You gotta get in and actually fight.
With these other things, you might sprain something, you might tweak something, but you're not gonna be in there taking damage deliberately. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be in there taking damage deliberately. Like Ryan came into that fight with Tank with an injury. He probably had a bruised rib or something. I'm not sure if you ever watched the epilogue, but the first thing that Joe Goosen says to him, what he asked Ryan is, did he get you in the spot? Referring to that rib.
Yeah.
And Ryan was like, he got me.
Yeah, I saw the way before the epilogue, when he went to the corner, I saw the way he looked at him. I was wondering what they had said, and then I saw it in the epilogue because I knew it was something. I said, that didn't look right when he just asked him something, and Brian was holding like, Yeah,
he came in there with that injury.
Yeah. Yeah. And then some kind of way it got back to Tank's team, right? The injury did.
Yep.
That a mole.
Yeah, that Asian cat had spilled the beans on that. Let him know what was happening.
Right. Yeah. That's
no,
not
it
right.
isn't. But that's how it is, though. Because you know, with these guys, they're very, very prideful. I feel as though there is a little bit of egomania that takes place.
Because he was the one that did it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's such a testosterone fueled sport.
Right.
You literally like putting hands on somebody, beating them up. Exactly. Hey, you know, so and so. Yeah, I sparred with him. I did this to him. I did that to him. And you're seeing now more than ever, guys are broadcasting videos that are being recorded as sparring.
I know. Yeah.
And a lot of times, what they do is they won't even show you everything in its totality. They're gonna create excerpts and clips and highlight the work that they were doing.
Yeah, exactly. That is terrible.
Yeah. So he's sweet, man. I hit him with an uppercut, buckled his knees, but you didn't show when this guy was jabbing your ears off your face.
Right.
You know,
you got knocked on your ass or something. You ain't gonna show that part.
Nope.
You know. Yeah, they edited it.
So these things happen, man. Guys, you got some guys who are just.
Oh, say it again. He went out. Still there, Ant? Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you got some of these guys who are.
Oh, you sound kind of fuzzy like.
All right, let me mute.
Oh, you got it. Say something. I think you was good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you good. Yeah.
Yeah, you got some of these guys who are undisputed in sparring, and they get under the bright lights, and it's not the same situation.
Right.
But in the gym,
back in the day, sparring was sacred. You hardly didn't even know who sparred who you had in camp sparring against you. You know, just didn't talk about it, man. You know,
and I think that's part of. I think it's part of the way sparring was. It seemed like it really was practice for a lot of guys. Like I'm coming in here to work on something very, very specific.
Right. Yeah. Tommy Hearns could have had Roberto Duran and his camp helping him get ready for Sugar Ray. Nobody would ever known it. You know? But now that would be the first thing that would come out. Guess who was over there helping Tank get ready for so-and-so?
Yeah.
Because you remember Tank had Sean Porter helping him get ready. Was it Ryan Garcia? Or was it Rolly? One of them. Remember Sean Porter was at Tank's camp sparring? I think it was Ryan. It might have been Rolly. I can't remember.
I think Tank also did some work with Sean Porter too when he was getting ready for Bud.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I think I knew him and Sean Porter was sparring. Somebody was getting ready for camp. It might have been Porter's camp. Yeah, but I know it got out. Yeah. But back in the day, people wouldn't even been concerned about it. You know, it was more. I wonder if Jay having that old school thing tonight. He said it was going to be on Sundays, but he didn't say nothing about it earlier today. I'm gonna call him later on. Yeah, today is Sunday.
It's just where we are nowadays too, where we want to broadcast everything because so many of us are content creators at this point, and we just want to just record, and put everything out there.
And some people will do anything
and
to
keep
get
very little to ourselves.
Yeah,
that's true.
Everything is how many. Is that a good idea where I can get a like for subscribers? How many likes can I get off of this idea? So nothing is sacred anymore. That's the first thing you think when you get some kind of information. How many likes can I get for that? Will it go viral? Yeah. Technology can be negative sometimes and it can be positive. Depends on how you use it.
Well, I don't think the technology is the bad part. I think
Yeah.
that it's our mind frame.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we
Yeah,
don't think that we can get it earnestly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the technology.
And being in, you know, being a person of integrity. It's like we just don't think that it happens. We think that we gotta be crass and underhanded and just uncouth and not operate with a certain level of decorum and tact. That we just gotta be rambunctious and obnoxious.
Right.
But there's definitely a space where, you know, we can be earnest and we can have integrity and people still want to check in and tune in. And if anything, we can condition the people, you know, condition the audience to look for people who create content, but they exhibit those qualities as well.
That's right. Sure can. It don't always have to be the other way. But then a lot of people look at some people that's successful at it and they being crass and all, you know, ignorant, and so they think that if they be that way, they'll be successful, like, or have as much success as that person having, you know. Some people look at it like that.
Absolutely. They look at it as, you know, that's the formula.
Exactly.
You know,
but that don't work. That's not the formula for everybody, though. It works for that person. Yeah. Yeah. You got to find your own little niche, you know.
And even with that person, I mean, it typically is going to work until it doesn't.
That's right. That's right.
You know, you got to operate in a fashion that will afford you longevity.
Yeah. Something that's going to keep working.
Yep. And I believe that earnestness is what affords longevity more so than anything else, because
I do too.
You know, when you're being genuine, it's not a shtick, it's not an act, it's not a spiel.
That's right.
It's none of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. You just keep being genuine.
Yep. And then you're also giving people something, and you're also giving something people of substance as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially with this, right? Like when we're talking about boxing.
Yeah.
And we're not just, you know, spewing narratives and the common rhetoric, whatever's being perpetuated at the time.
No.
Then people are able to learn a little something, and when you're teaching people things, you know, essentially you're teaching them how to fish. That's what I think. That's what's more important than anything. Not telling people what to think about, but showing people how to be critical, showing people how to be objective, showing people how to be open-minded, and doing it in a way in which you're not pretentious and saying, well, I know everything, but just knowing that you know enough to know that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
So now you're pushing the importance of research and attentiveness.
Because nobody knows everything. You can learn something from anybody. You can learn something from anybody at any time.
Yep.
That's why I don't have like I always say, prearranged stuff to talk about. Titles. I just, you know, go wherever the conversation goes. We talk about it. You know, whatever comes up.
It's a good way to have it too. Definitely a good format. I think the other thing has its space as well.
Yeah,
I think that has its space.
Oh yeah, definitely does.
Because there is something to be said for organization.
Yeah,
and how it affects productivity and proficiency. Mm-hmm. Being able to keep something airtight, I think that has its place.
Yeah, and sometimes that leads to other subjects. You know, you start out on that subject that you got in your thumbnail or whatever, and then you know that leads to other stuff. That works too. Yeah.
But the most important thing is that we're having a conversation, not a real conversation, because you know, typically what happens is we have arguments and we have discord.
I know.
And now we're not getting anywhere, because now we're arguing about, you know, how this guy is ducking that guy and how that guy is ducking that guy, and we're not finding any common ground.
Mm-hmm.
or any understanding anywhere. Because we're not looking for it.
And nobody wants to hear that. Like you said, they might be around for a while, but eventually you're going to lose the people. If that's what always goes on. Every time they come around, you hear you arguing with somebody and disagreeing. And, you know, people don't want to hear that. They want a nice conversation. Sure, you can disagree about stuff. Two people are not going to agree all the time, but it's the way they disagree, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you come to a place where even your disagreements sound relatively civil, where you can't even tell it's a disagreement because you're having a conversation and you're having an exchange.
Yeah. That's what I tell my wife. She'll say, I don't want to argue with you. I say, we're not arguing, we're having a conversation. You know? Yeah, it's a difference, a big difference. Now, it can be an argument. Look at my wife right there. Yeah, hi, Victoria Thomas. Ain't that something?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Wow. I thought you're supposed to be working. What's that hand pink waving? What is that? Hand pink waving.
It probably shows up on the YouTube side of things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think on StreamYard they don't have that smiley feature on here, that emoji feature.
Yeah.
So
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see it. It's on my phone.
So it comes in as the input and not the actual emoji itself.
Yeah. 30. This is 31. I just number my live. Like, this is Cast Sports Goes Live number 31. Let's see. Yeah, it shows up on the phone, like you said, on the YouTube side. I see a pink. Oh, see, it says hand pink waving, but on here it's the actual pink hand waving.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, it's the input, because I don't think that StreamYard they have the emoji function. So.
Well, they don't. They sure don't. Nope. They sure don't. Well, Ant, I think it's about time for Just Do Boxing.
I believe so.
Yeah. Appreciate you again.
Likewise. Always appreciate it, man. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, you're always welcome. Always welcome. There's Gregory Pratt. What's up, GP? How you doing today, sir? You caught us right at the tail end of it. Me and Aunt McQueen had another good conversation about the fights last night. Boxing in general. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Aunt. I'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the rebound.
Okay. Gregory Pratt, Bruce Gads Boxing. My beautiful wife, Victoria. Remo. Flawless Mentality. And that's about it. And of course, Aunt McQueen, my panelists. Appreciate everybody helping me on my small channel once again. But hey, you gotta be small before you can be big, right? Cast Sports. See y'all. Okay, GP. I appreciate you listening, bro. I'm get ready to watch them Ravens tonight. Everybody have a good day.